With the headlines for this hour on VTV News, Vietnam considers ASEAN as its family. An Australian PLUMS hit Vietnamese market. In our war news, Russia to provide financial assistance for conflict residents.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Hello, it's 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. On Wednesday afternoon, Party General Secretary Theo met with Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Parizia, reaffirming Vietnam's commitment to solidarity and cooperation with Cuba. He emphasized the importance of cooperating in food production, energy, biotechnology, healthcare, and tourism sectors while effectively implementing existing agreements. The Cuban foreign minister praised Vietnam as a successful model of socialist-oriented development and expressed gratitude for its support in agriculture, food security, and multilateral forums. Also on Wednesday, Vietnam Minister of Public Security Lương Tam Quang and Cambodia Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Interior Star Soka co-chair a conference to review the 2024 cooperation plan. Over the past year, both sides have worked together to ensure security for major political events, manage border-related issues, and combat crime. For 2025, they agreed to strengthen efforts against transnational crimes, including drug trafficking, human trafficking, cybercrime, and online fraud. They also pledged closer coordination and multilateral frameworks. The conference concluded with the signing of the 2025 cooperation plan. On Wednesday afternoon, while meeting with ambassadors and chargé d'affaires of ASEAN countries and Timor-Leste, State President Lương Cường reiterated that Vietnam always considers South Asian nations as close neighbors and ASEAN as its family.
State President Lương Cường extended his greetings to ASEAN leaders, reaffirming that after 3 decades as a member, Vietnam considers ASEAN a strategic priority in its foreign policy. The state president emphasized Vietnam's commitment to working with ASEAN countries to build a united, resilient community with an increasingly influential role on the global stage. The state leader also urged ASEAN to turn commitments into concrete results, proactively tackle challenges, and drive strong development to contribute to global peace, stability, and prosperity. To support ASEAN's collective effort in shaping the region's future, Vietnam is preparing to host the ASEAN Future Forum, fostering open, constructive dialogue on critical issues facing the bloc. The state president also supported Malaysia in successfully assuming the chair of the ASEAN in 2025 and for Timor-Leste's early official accession to the ASEAN family. On behalf of the ASEAN ambassadors and chargé d'affaires, Malaysia's ambassador pledged to work alongside fellow diplomats to advance the Vietnamese state president's proposals. The Malaysian ambassador commended Vietnam's contributions in strengthening ASEAN's solidarity, unity, and resilience, highlighting Vietnam's dynamic growth and commitments as a source of inspiration and deeper cooperation within and beyond the region.
After 6.5 days of deliberation, the National Assembly concluded its 9th extraordinary session on Wednesday morning. Party General Secretary Theo and other incumbents and former leaders of the party and state also attended the sessions.
In his closing speech, National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn emphasized that during this extraordinary session, the legislative body passed 4 laws and 5 resolutions. Laws are related to government restructuring, and resolutions aimed at promoting socio-economic development and advancing key national projects. The top legislator described the session as a milestone in lawmaking. It addressed institutional and policy barriers to pave the way for breakthroughs and development opportunities.
Law projects discussed and passed in this session reflect new, clear and precise ideas that align with the spirit of legal innovation, which is introduced by the 8th session of the 15th National Assembly. These policies are timely and inevitable, demonstrating the party and state's decisive approach in eliminating obstacles and bottlenecks that hinder the country's progress. At this pivotal moment in history, we must take bold, transformative decisions to drive national development.
The top legislator emphasized the strict and transparent handling of personnel matters in full compliance with party regulations and state laws. He called on the government to swiftly draft and implement detailed plans based on the newly passed laws and resolutions. Agencies, units, and localities were urged to take proactive, creative, and decisive action to ensure effective policy implementation. On the final day of the session, legislators passed several critical resolutions. These decisions are expected to drive Vietnam's socio-economic transformation, strengthen institutional reforms, and advance major national projects efficiently.
The 15th National Assembly concluded its 9 extraordinary sessions, and it also adopted multiple important laws and resolutions. More to follow.
The 15th National Assembly adopted a resolution on the investment policy of the Lao Cai-Hanoi Haiphong Railway project, with 455 out of 159 participating deputies voting in favor. The new railway line will span approximately 309.9 kilometers with 27.9 kilometers of branch lines. Starting at the border crossing point in Lao Cai province, the line will terminate at La Chuyen Station in Haiphong City. The project involves constructing a new electrified single-track railway line with a 1,435 mm gauge, accommodating both passenger and freight services.
A 94.98% approval rating has been achieved for a resolution piloting new policies and mechanisms geared towards development progress in science, technology, innovation, and national digital transformation. There are some notable points mentioned. Individuals are exempt from civil liability for causing damage to the state when performing scientific and technological tasks using the state budget if they have fully followed regulations. Organizations performing scientific and technological tasks using the state budget that do not achieve the expected results do not have to return the funds used. The National Assembly allows a controlled pilot investment in satellite telecommunications networks using low-orbit satellite technology.
Also this morning, the National Assembly passed a resolution on supplements to the 2025 Socioeconomic Development Plan, which sets a growth target of at least 8%. Accordingly, the GDP is expected to exceed $500 billion USD this year. The GDP per capita is projected to surpass 5,000 USD, and the average consumer price index, CPI, growth rate is targeted to be around 5%.
The National Assembly deputies also voted to pass a resolution on piloting a number of special mechanisms and policies to develop the urban railway network system in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, and a resolution on mechanisms and policies for investment in the construction of the Ninh Thuan nuclear power project.
Vietnam imported over $12 billion of agricultural products from various countries last year. Experts believe the intensified trade promotion of other countries in Vietnam has led to strong consumptions of these products. Australia's export of agriculture, aquatic and forestry products to Vietnam amounted to approximately $2.5 billion in 2023-2024, with a growing trade in fruit.
Hanoi shoppers got their first taste of officially imported Australian plums on Wednesday. Sourced directly from premium Australian farms, these plums meet strict freshness and food safety standards. This introduction will likely bring a new wave to the imported fruit scene.
I tasted them, and I think they are great for daily meals and suitable for the whole family.
Before the plums are picked, the Australian farmers test for their juiciness and their sweetness. But once they're picked, they undertake optical observation, and where they are looked at internally and externally for any defaults. any blemishes that are on the fruit. They are picked out by a special piece of equipment.
Vietnam is Australia's 7th largest export market for agricultural products. Between mid-2023 and 2024, Vietnam's plum imports surged by 132%, creating significant opportunities for Australian producers and Vietnamese distributors.
From strength to strength, especially from a trading perspective. So a few years ago we celebrated our 50 years of diplomatic relations. Last year in 2024 our two Prime Ministers signed a comprehensive strategic partnership, raising our governments to the highest possible level of diplomatic relations, and as a result we're seeing businesses from both countries continuing to buy products.
According to nutrition experts, plums are considered among the world's most delicious fruits, thanks to the unique climate and soil of each growing region. They are renowned for their quality and rich flavor. They are rich in fiber and antioxidants, which reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease and diabetes.
Coming up next on VTV News, Vietnam win historic goal in ASEAN Shooting Cup. And dancing class motivate visually impaired. Welcome back to VTV News. The Vietnamese government has set a GRDP growth target of 9% for Lâm Đồng this year, the second highest in Central Highlands. The province has implemented various strategies to achieve this goal, with a strong focus on infrastructure development and attracting foreign investment into its key economic sectors, tourism and services.
A host of renowned global real estate corporations, including Kengo Kuma and Associates, Isometrics Lighting and Design, 158 London, and Chivasam, have gathered in Dalat, Lâm Đồng for the first time looking to invest in Vietnam.
The government, the Lâm Đồng province, slowly opening up for more and more foreign investors, more and more five-star resort, more and more hotels from middle class to five-star resort. I think it will slowly become one of the hottest destinations in Southeast Asia. And of course, this is one of the most beautiful places in Vietnam.
In the highlands, so the climate is cool, and people from the big cities, they enjoy it here. That has been always the case.
To attract strong foreign investment into its key tourism and services sector, Lâm Đồng has been addressing land planning, infrastructure, and construction regulations bottlenecks while eliminating overlapping investment approvals procedures. In the second quarter, construction will begin on the Tan Phu, Bảo Lộc, and Bảo Lộc Liên Khương Expressway, alongside the expansion of Liên Khương International Airport.
Once these initiatives are implemented, we will attract investors to Lâm Đồng, particularly in real estate and tourism. By 2025, we aim for GRDP growth of 9 to 10% and budget revenue of $568 million USD. We will also accelerate investment in luxury hotels.
Additionally, there are also plans to complete the smart city infrastructure for Dalat and attract global technology firms to establish headquarters and set up production in Lâm Đồng.
Many banks have launched the first home preferential loan package specifically designed for younger buyers. Younger buyers anticipate this loan package will help them own their first home.
This family currently rents a mini apartment for 196 USDs per month, as owning an apartment is still beyond their budget. However, after learning about the preferential credit package for young people, a glimmer of hope emerged to own their first home.
We think of it as replacing rent. We just need to allocate about 20 to 30% of our salary towards loan interest. This helps us stabilize our cash flow for other things while allowing us to own a house.
The loan term is up to 30 years. However, borrowers can pay early if possible. In particular, the bank offers a fixed preferential interest rate of 5.5% per year for the first 5 years, while conventional loan packages currently only offer preferential rates for 12 to 18 months. This interest rate is even lower than the current return from savings deposits.
We offer customers loans and other services, such as payments, credit cards, and more. Our goal is to provide comprehensive services to young people, rather than just focusing on a single loan.
Despite the readily available capital, many people raise concerns over the supply of affordable housing. Last year, the market saw nearly 81,000 housing products launched, but notably, 65% belong to the high-end and luxury. Affordable apartments that meet the main demand of the market were almost absent.
In the market at the moment through the sales of the Nelson private residences in Hanoi, which are an exclusive collection of 175 private residences on Lang Ha in Ba Ding district. So it's a CBD location, very little supply.
While affordable housing yields lower profits than high-end apartments, this segment enjoys more preferential policies and meets the essential needs of most people. To realize the dream of settling down for Vietnamese people, closer coordination between investors and banks in providing preferential credit packages is necessary.
Vietnam's shooting team made history at the 2025 Asian Shooting Cup, securing its first ever goal in men's 25-meter rapid-fire pistol team event. On February 18, shooters Ha Minh Thạch, Phạm Quang Huy, Vũ Tiến Nam, and Trần Công Hiếu scored 1,727 points to claim victory, with Japan and Indonesia taking silvers and bronze. This marked Vietnam's first goal in nearly 20 years at the continental level. The tournament ran until February 2022. Hanoi has been ranked 14 on TripAdvisor's list of the 25 top destinations of all time. The city captivates visitors with its blend of ancient charm and modern vibrancies, from the old quarter to historic temples and tree-lined streets. Hanoi's well-preserved relics and dynamic urban life make it a top choice for travelers. It also secured second place among the world's top cultural destinations. Bát Tràng Ceramics and Vạn Phúc Silk Weaving have become Vietnam's first traditional craft villages to officially join the UNESCO Creative City Network for Craft and Folk Arts. This milestone opens up opportunities for collaboration with leading global craft centers. However, it also poses challenges for Hanoi in transforming these villages into key pillars of the capital's cultural industry.
The experiential zone at Vạn Phúc Silk Village in Hà Đông captured visitors' attention during celebrations of its Creative Cities Network inclusion. However, artisans expressed concern that such immersive experiences aren't readily available in the village itself, highlighting a key obstacle for craft village tourism development.
Tourism in Vạn Phúc cannot support long visits. Most visitors typically complete their tours in half a day. This is due to inadequate infrastructure and few engaging tourist destinations within the village.
To achieve international standards, challenges in craft village industrial planning, raw material sourcing, and workforce training must be addressed.
There is plenty of work, but young workers are hard to find. Most artisans in the village are over 35 or 40 years old.
We will review the overall craft village planning, focusing on improving infrastructure, linking development with tourism, and integrating craft tours with experiential education to enhance these villages' value.
With recognition from the World Crafts Council, Hanoi now has a greater opportunity to promote craft village tourism, turning traditional craft spaces into attractions for both domestic and international visitors. However, this also demands comprehensive infrastructure development and well-structured policies to foster professional, sustainable growth in craft village tourism.
Dancing is difficult for many people, and as a sport, this activity becomes even more challenging for the visually impaired. However, a free dance class in Đông Đa District, Hanoi has been igniting passions and helping visually impaired individuals gain confidence and integrate into the community.
Bumping into each other while dancing. Even without sight, they can still feel the music and rhythm in their hearts. Hien lost her eyesight in a traffic accident. She has been learning to dance for 4 years.
For me, dancing is a whole new world. It is a magical gateway that allows me and my friends to explore dance and discover ourselves.
As for Thich, he attends class regularly 2 to 3 times a week. After 3 years of dancing, he has lost 10 kilograms and significantly improved his health.
I have retinal detachment due to congenital nystagmus, so my vision gradually deteriorates over time. For over 10 years, I'd mostly stayed home, surrounded by 4 walls. But when I joined this dance class, I found new friends and a sense of belonging.
The driving force behind this class is Do Văn Hoa. As a national-level sports dance coach, he has over 20 years of experience competing in domestic and international tournaments. However, this class has given him a completely different experience.
In this class, I greet the students first, which is different from a typical dance class. I also constantly give verbal instructions and describe movements with my hands.
Every Wednesday and Friday morning, the Visually Impaired Sports Dance Club at the Đông Đa District Blind Association becomes a gathering place for 100 visually impaired individuals.
Coming here, we are given trust, a belief that we can do it and do it well. I keep reminding myself, keep pushing forward.
Coming up next in our World News, Russia to provide financial assistance for conflict residents. And U.S. plans to impose 25% tariff on auto, trips, and pharmaceuticals. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered the federal government to pay 65,000 rubles or $710 monthly to refugees in the Kurd region until the end of hostility in the region. Accordingly, all residents of the region who have lost their property will receive this payment and other aid. Over 112,000 people are estimated to be eligible for emergency assistance. Since August last year, many residents forced to leave the border areas of Kurd have continuously submitted requests to the authorities to resolve issues related to financial aid and housing. The Russian government confirmed that it would continue prioritizing support for people in the conflict zone while finding solutions to rebuild the region after the situation is under control. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that he plans to impose tariffs of around 25% on auto import, semiconductors, and pharmaceutical shipped to the United States as early as April 2nd. This decision is projected to impact the global auto industry heavily. Trump stated he would likely impose higher duties on pharmaceuticals and semiconductors than on imported cars. However, he did not give a specific time frame. The U.S. president said he wanted to give potentially affected companies time to bring their factories to America to avoid tariffs.
We're going to be announcing some very big.
On Wednesday, the British Department of Health announced a 10-year study to assess the long-term impact of e-cigarettes on children aged 8 and over. The study will follow 100,000 people aged 8 to 18 for a decade. Researchers will collect behavioral, biological, and health records from participants. The study aims to provide the most comprehensive and detailed picture to date of the impact of e-cigarette use on adolescents, thereby providing the evidence needed for policymakers to protect future generations from the potential health risks posed by e-cigarettes. There is evidence that e-cigarettes can be dangerous for developing lungs, while exposure to nicotine can affect young brains. Myanmar is working with Thailand to crack down on and rescue foreigners from call center scams compounds. The campaign has rescued hundreds of victims who have been trafficked and forced to work there. More on this in the following story.
Hundreds of victims from online scam centers in Myanmar's Mayawati city have been rescued. They are awaiting a return to their home countries. The Myanmar government says it has rescued over 1,000 foreign nationals in the past 3 weeks.
Have our cell phones, we need to talk to our family that we are coming home, and we have no contact with them yet, but I think we can go home as soon as possible, and that will be really good for us.
Myanmar and Thai authorities are working together to repatriate these victims. Thailand will receive 500 repatriates each day. Those brought to Thailand will undergo health checks to ensure they are free of infectious diseases before entering the country. They must also undergo biometric scanning and travel document checks to confirm their nationality.
We absolutely do not accept human trafficking and torture. I am now handing over the rescued victims to the Thai military and police.
In response to the scammers, Thailand, earlier this month, cut off electricity and internet access in 5 border areas of Myanmar. These areas are known hubs for online scams and human trafficking. The Thai government also ordered an end to fuel supplies and other logistical services such as SIM cards, satellite antennas and cables used by scammers. Thailand is also considering spending over $11 million from its budget to build a 55-kilometer fence along the Thai-Cambodian border. The aim is to strengthen the prevention of criminal scammers who tend to move from Myanmar border areas into Cambodia.
And now, as usual, let's continue with the weather forecast. And that's it for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can log on to VTVgo.vn or download our mobile application VTVgo. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.